Donald Trump has the support of the evangelical community and Jerry Falwell Jr. and other prominent white evangelicals. But you quote your Aunt Marianne, who is a devout Catholic, as saying the only time Donald went to church was when the cameras were there. It's mind-boggling. He has no principles, none. That's what your aunt said. Now, how religious a man do you think Donald Trump really is? How important is religion to him?
I think it has no importance to him whatsoever. I never saw any evidence of that growing up, and that's fine. But it's not okay when you pretend otherwise and convince people that you're something you're not.
So, Mary, one of the things that I found fascinating in the book is you talk about your grandmother, someone we really don't hear anything about in terms of Donald's mom. And you seemed close to the end of the book, very surprised when she sort of turned on you when you were trying to explain that you and your brother were trying to explore ways to, become part of the legacy that your grandfather left. Yeah. Can you tell me why you were so surprised by that?
My grandmother and I were very close when my grandfather died. We actually, after my father died in 1981, we didn't speak for a couple of years. It was a very traumatic time. I was in boarding school and then I was in college. But when I grew up a little bit, I made a concerted effort starting when I was in grad school at Columbia in the early 90s. I made a concerted effort to create a bond with her. And over the next few years, we spent a lot of time together. And I really believed that she loved me and I loved her. So it was breathtaking and just beyond distressing, honestly, when she said to me, when she found out that I wasn't actually happy about the fact that I'd been completely disinherited by my grandfather, when she said to me that when my father died, he was worth a whole lot of nothing. As if that were, one, a justification of why I had been disinherited, but two, the sum total of who he was. He didn't have money, so therefore he was worth nothing. And she was talking about her son, who died at the age of 42.
So sad. Mary, you say that Marianne, your Aunt Marianne, did homework for Donald. Also that he paid a friend to take the SATs for him. Now, the White House, of course, denies this. But do you think that there's something about his background that makes him so insecure about his intellectual abilities? He keeps bragging about this cognitive test that he passed the other day. It's not a test of intelligence. It basically is a test to see if you're, if you're all there. He threatens to sue anyone who exposes his high school grades. I mean, why is he so insecure about his intellectual abilities?
Yeah. First of all, just really quickly, I want to just apologize. I thought your question was going in a different direction earlier. So I hope I answered it.
Yes, that's fine.
Properly. But in terms of the intellectual, well, he's insecure across many dimensions, honestly. But it starts because, he had my dad as an example, right? My father was, in addition to being kind and generous, which, were not valued traits in the family, he was also accomplished. He did ROTC in college and was a second lieutenant in the Air National Guard. And he, on his own, during college, he got his private and professional pilot's licenses and flew for TWA at the dawn of the jet age in the early 60s. And yet he was still reviled, humiliated, and dismantled by their father. So, Donald knew on some level that he couldn't possibly stack up against my dad, but knew also that if he didn't at least pretend to, he could suffer the same fate.
Wow. Mary, thank you so much for coming. This book is really, it's hard to read, but probably very necessary. The book is Too Much and Never Enough.